Welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shelby, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Thanks for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, or thanks for being with us if you've been with us all day. But we're here to talk about your money because that's the most important thing. These markets equal your money. Let's take a look and see what's going on, especially in the grains. Let's take a look at corn. What's happening over there? Corn's pretty quiet here, down a penny and a half, but it has been kind of all over the place. We're at 5.76 even right now, about 2 3/4 cents off the highs, but we've been down this 5.69 is low. So take a little yellow caution light on that one. March is off a penny and 3/4 at 5.83 and a half. So steady, a little bit easier into corn right now, but we have been whipping about. How about soybeans? Stronger board here today, right? Jan's up 9 1/4 cents at 12.53 and a half. That's 2.5 cents off the highs there. March is up 8 3/4 at 12.65 and a quarter. Moving right along to the Chicago wheat, 7.5 cents higher in Dees at 8.24 and a half, 5 cents off the highs. We've got March up 6 3/4 cents at 8.35 and a quarter. Okay, we'll start to introduce some weakness here as we get to Kansas City and Minneapolis. Kansas City is still higher. Dees is up 3/4 of a penny at 8.33 and 3/4. March is up a penny at 8.36 and a half. All right, how about spring wheat? This one's really been posting good gains as of late, but giving back some today. Dees is off 15.5 cents, 10.34 and a half is last. March is off 8 1/4 cents at 10.38 and a quarter last. All right, finally, let's take a quick peek at what's happening in cotton. It's been getting a lot of the headlines as of late. 18 points higher in Dees at 117.87, while March is off 16 points at 114.92, kind of giving up that 115 handle there. All right, let's bring in Todd Horowitz from Bubba Trading. Todd's in Chicago today. Todd, thanks for joining the show. What are your thoughts about the grain markets?
I love them. I think they look really good, Scott. I mean, I think that, everything looks really solid. I think demand is good. I think there's a lot of things that are in favor of higher prices, and the technicals are in favor of higher prices on as well as everything else. So I think we have a potential to continue to go higher. And the bottom line is we need to go higher. And it looks like out of nowhere, it looks like we're going to start to see the rate hikes look like they're coming a little faster. So we better get these goods pushed up because they're trying to slow the inflation that doesn't exist.
Right. I don't know if you saw it like I did, or at least I felt it, right? I mean, yes, last week was an interesting week. We had a lot of data from the government, both for grains and everything else. But, we had that CPI, that hot CPI number come in where we're growing. We have inflation at 6.2%, which is the fastest in 31 years, by the way. It just seems like we brought a lot of new money to the market. I mean, it seemed like there may be some inflation trade kind of coming in. I don't know if you felt that, but everybody was really looking for an excuse why things went higher, but that's all it really felt like to me. It was pretty simple.
And I agree with you. Look, I think it's one of the problems with the continued inflation, the monetary supply that continues to get added to, and they're going to have to taper this down. I mean, because seriously, Scott, you and I know that the 6.2 is without food and energy. And what is the average home's number one cost? Food and energy. So their inflation is really like 16%, not 6%.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty historic proportions. If you're talking 31 years just for that, I mean, yeah, I agree with you that pretty much everything we touch. And I said this earlier, and I want to bounce this off you real quick, but this didn't get reported, Todd. But before. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to hold you on that one, and we're going to talk about it when we come back from break, all right? So we're going to come back. Yeah, right. We're going to come back and talk livestock with Todd Bubba Horowitz after these messages. Welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shelby, otherwise known as the Cow Guy, and I use that as a cheap segue sometimes, maybe a lot of times, to talk about this live cattle market. Why don't we take a quick look at live cattle before we get back to our guest? Live cattle on Dees is up 2 cents. That's one tick, 132.15. Feb's quietly higher by 45 cents at 136.55, but that board is telling me there's not a ton going on. Let's see what's happening in feeders. It's a mixed one as well, right? Jan's up 25 cents at 157.97, while March is up 22 cents at 159.40. All right, let's take a look at lean hogs, and we'll get back to Todd Bubba Horowitz. Here we go. Lean hogs up. December's up 2 cents at 75.90. We've got Feb up 47 cents at 81.02. All right, let's bring back in Todd. Todd, I want to bounce this off of you. This is going to be interesting for our producers because it's got everything to do with fertilizer. But before that climate meeting, or summit that we just had in Europe last week, it did not go reported, but some of the biggest endowments, portfolios, and pension funds in the world, with a value of, say, just under $40 trillion combined, they pledged full or partial abstinence in buying coal, gas, and oil stocks. So that's why you've got a lot of these oil companies running away from fossil fuels, trying to reinvent themselves with renewables. But it'll be interesting to see, because that's the size of the GDP of U.S. and China combined. That's how much money that is. Not buying coal, gas, and oil stocks. It'll be interesting to see what happens to those things if you don't have that type of investment, don't you think?
I don't think they're going to do that, Scott. I think the whole summit, the whole COP26 was hogwash, and I think that
I love it. I love it. I love it.
it's not. Listen. We've heard these stories before. These guys care about one thing: money. They don't care about anything else, and that has always been the case. What do you think they're going to suddenly band together? They're trying to flex some muscle because they like the way of the free money and the low interest rates that allows them to continue to make $40 trillion, not because they care about the environment. This is an old wives' tale story of them trying to manipulate governments, and the governments, listen, China and India aren't going to be manipulated. They're putting coal, they're mining it, they're getting it, and they're going to burn it, and that's the way it's going to go until the end of time, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, China wasn't even there. I don't know about India, but China wasn't even there. And it's interesting to hear your point of view, because, yeah, I know those guys that run those endowments, those portfolios and pension funds too. And the only way they would stop buying is if they weren't long already. You know, if they never had a position, because if they're long already, they're going to continue to stay in there, because they're not going to let the values of those trades go lower. So it'll be interesting to see if they can do something like that. But it goes to show you about how everybody's running away from this fossil fuel issue. You've got that much money saying they're pledging. Now, whether they do it or not, it's different. You don't think they will, but that's, you know, all coal, gas, and oil stocks. You know, that's why the price of this stuff is going up, because nobody wants to touch it, but renewables can't handle our energy yet. And so here we are.
Because they're long. What do you want? Listen, this is a skate, and that's what it is. Listen, it's the oldest trick in the book, my brother. But in the meantime, I know our time's almost out. The meats look really good, and they look like they're going higher as well.
That is an awesome way to end it, all right, Todd? That's where I'm going to stop. You're awesome. Okay, that's Todd Horowitz, Bubba Horowitz, trading. He's in Chicago right now, but he's also in Vegas a lot. I'm in Nashville, and so is Tammy. I'm going to throw it back over to her.